This is my graduate research project, WDC Solar, Nigerian Expansion. It's a business development analysis for global mobility. I'm Crystal Zion and a graduate student at Amberton University, taking course MGT 6220.E1, Managing Global Workforce, by Professor Diane Sanchez. Project due August 7th, 2019. Solar energy is no longer the future. Rather, it is now and continues to grow at a rapid pace. According to the Solar Energy Industries Association, solar generated $17 billion in investments for the U.S. economy in 2018. U.S. citizens are being socially responsible and supporting solar energy companies because they understand the value of utilizing solar power as a renewable energy source. Solar power reduces the fossil fuel emissions produced by traditional energy sources. These emissions harmfully affect air, water, and soil quality and are the cause of global warming. Being 100% clean, solar power does not cause pollution, and the sun provides unlimited energy that is environmentally friendly. WDC Solar. WDC stands for Washington, D.C. The company is a leader in the construction, integration, and installation of commercial, residential, and utility-scale solar installations. The company also trains residents to obtain green tech jobs in the renewables and environmental industry. WDC Solar is a public company founded in 2009 with 9 employees. Company mission is to create livable wage green technology jobs for local electricians, roofers, solar technicians, and engineers, keeping valuable green dollars in our communities, improve the air quality in our environment, and make solar energy affordable and available to all residents living in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. WDC Solar specializes in solar installation, consulting, custom design, preventive maintenance, emergent energy efficiency, environmental solutions, estimations, and repairs. Headquartered in Washington, D.C., WDC Solar has interest in global expansion. About the founder. Mark Davis used to be a professional basketball player for the NBA. But what he most wants to be known for is bringing solar power and jobs to low-income neighborhoods. Davis founded WDC in 2009 after realizing that it was mainly the wealthy who could afford to install solar power and were reaping the added extra reward of healthy tax credits for using the renewable energy. Davis wanted to spread the solar wealth. Davis utilized federal and state funding initiatives such as the Obama Economic Stimulus Bill, mandating the production of solar and renewable energy, and the Sustainable DC Fund, used to improve sustainability and the quality of life in the city. With this funding, his company not only provides solar energy to low-income residents in Washington, D.C., but it has also created jobs in the area that start at $15 to $23 an hour. It's a great way for people with just a GED to get into an industry that's growing rapidly and do well for themselves if they're willing to work hard, says Davis. The company was featured on CNN Business. Mark Davis, the founder, who is in the center, is not only bringing free solar power to low-income neighborhoods, but he is also creating jobs. The goal of this research project is to assess the experience of WDC Solar Business Development Analyst George Hall as he embarks on a global assignment, expatriating to Nigeria for a 2-year period to develop a project analysis for solar power development and implementation. Then he repatriates back to the U.S. The research objective of this graduate project is to create a global mobility strategy for WDC Solar, to identify major aspects of globalization impacting human resource management, identify legal requirements for WDC Solar expanding into Nigeria, explore cultural adjustments and staging requirements, explore ethical and social considerations, assess the findings of WDC Solar's business development analyst, and last, assess the expatriation, repatriation cycle and how it affects WDC Solar's business development analyst. The hypothesis of this project is an effective global mobility strategy will enable WDC's business development analysts to develop a sound project analysis for solar power development and implementation in the country of Nigeria. Nigeria is ready for renewable energy, and solar power is a viable energy source for the nation. A successful global assignment will confirm that WDC Solar should move forward with expanding into the Nigerian renewable energy market to take advantage of a lucrative business venture. The methodology used with this project includes a qualitative research method, including the gathering of verifiable data extracted from peer-reviewed articles, journals, internet sources, and its course, Managing Global Workforce. Additionally, a one-on-one interview with a Nigerian native who works in the architectural profession is included in this research methodology. Not ever having visited or lived in Nigeria proved to be a limitation of this research project. However, first-hand knowledge via a one-on-one interview with a Nigerian native is included in this research in an effort to counter this limitation. Global mobility is a firm relocating an employee or team of employees to another country and is considered a function of HRM. WDC Solar will relocate their business development analyst, George Hall, with no family accompaniment, to Lagos, Nigeria. This global mobility strategy addresses 3 areas: financial requirements, immigration and legal requirements, training and assignment support. Financial. U.S. tax withholdings will not change for George Hall. Nigerian taxation is imposed mainly on groups and not individuals. Hence, in addition to U.S. taxation, WDC Solar will pay a minimum business tax rate operating in the country. In addition to his U.S. salary, which will not change, George Hall will receive a monthly benefit allowance for housing, travel, and technology, i.e. mobile device, Wi-Fi expenses. Any other business expenses incurred should be acquired by George personally and processed for corporate reimbursement. George Hall will need to obtain a Nigerian personal bank account when he arrives. He will receive his usual bi-monthly direct deposit salary into his U.S. banking account. WDC Solar Accounting will pay a recurring small monthly fee to a share money platform for automatic transfer from his U.S. account to his Nigerian account, from U.S. dollars to Nigerian naira. U.S. medical, dental, and vision benefits will cease for the assignment period and will be replaced with an international comprehensive benefits health plan. Relocation total cost projection spreadsheet will need approval by WDC Solar's president. Immigration and legal. Once it is confirmed that George Hall is eligible for entry into Nigeria, application for the proper visa is required and should be started approximately 2 to 4 months before departure, as obtaining immigration status to work in Nigeria is a process and can take some time. Expatriate employees of companies and their dependents must apply for the subject to regularization visa. Fees apply, and the requirements include a formal application for STR visa for the employer institution accepting immigration responsibility, a valid passport with a minimum of 6 months validity and at least 2 blank pages for visa endorsement, 2 passport size photographs taken within the last 6 months on white background, duly completed visa form IMM22, expatriate quota approval, evidence of financial support, letters of offer of appointment and acceptance of offer, educational qualifications, and curriculum vitae. Visa approval letter is required. It is a document approved by the Nigerian Immigration Service headquarters that allows a traveler to proceed to Nigeria to pick up entry visa at the point of entry. There is no fee. An expatriate resident permit is required and must be renewed annually. Fees do apply. Regarding training and support, since WDC Solar Human Resource Management has very little knowledge about what George will need to know, the company has contracted the services of a mobility management vendor for assignee training, preparation, and coaching. This vendor's mobility platform offers a holistic approach to global mobility, beneficial for the employee and cost-effective for the business. Country-specific cultural training, host country compliance training, assignment management throughout its life cycle, a global assignment checklist, data transfer and business objective tracking tools, IT training and support for countries with limited networks and technology, and last, a mobile app providing country-specific information and connection to HR and support on demand. Globalization and human resource management. Globalization can be defined in a variety of ways. This research project recognizes globalization to be the interconnectedness resulting from shifts that are taking place across a range of contexts, including political, economical, social/cultural, technological, environmental, and legal spheres. Human resource management is the body of activities that recruit, engage, develop, and retain the talent needed to carry out an organization's mission. Global human resource management means conducting these activities across political, economical, social/cultural, technological, environmental, and legal contexts. The following PESTEL analysis identifies the major aspects of globalization that do impact human resource management. Once again, these factors include political, social, technological, environmental, legal, and economic. Let's start with political. This involves politicians, bureaucracy, and regulators. Now, similar to the U.S., Nigeria is a republic nation with a 3-tiered federal system of government consisting of federal, state, and local government. The federal level consists of the head of states, the president and vice president, and legislatures, the National Assembly. The National Assembly is composed of a House with 360 seats and Senate with 109 seats. The people vote via public elections every 4 years. Nigeria consists of 36 states and 774 local government areas. Since transitioning to a democratic system in 1999, Nigeria's political terrain is becoming attractive to international business. With an uninterrupted democracy, Nigeria is quite suitable for day-to-day business operations. Although bureaucracy and corruption has improved, fraud, bribery, lobbying for personal interests, and nepotism continue to stifle the growth and development of the country. Since the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission went into effect in 2004, many corrupt individuals have been arrested and jailed. Economic. This has to do with inflation, labor force, employment rate, economic stability. Nigeria is the second largest economy and stock exchange in Africa and leads the West African economy. Although the country has been seeing consistent growth in gross domestic products, the Nigerian economy continues to be challenged by its poor infrastructure facilities, lack of electricity, and high youth unemployment. Similar to the U.S., Nigeria has a free enterprise in which the people own the majority of businesses with a few areas controlled by the government. Foreign investment is welcome, both in private and public sectors. With the exception of banking, all the industry sectors are 100% open to foreign capital participation. Public ownership of local companies and businesses has no restrictions. Nigeria continues to be challenged by high unemployment and high inflation. Social/cultural has to do with business and cultural changes, family changes, and demographics. In Nigeria, about half of the population are Muslim and about half Christian. The remaining population follow traditional or indigenous beliefs. The official language is English, but there are more than 500 indigenous languages, such as Yoruba and Igbo, Hausa. The country has more than 250 ethnic groups, with the most political and influential groups being the Hausa Fulani, and Yoruba. The three main family systems within Nigerian society does include the nuclear family unit, compound, and also extended family. When gesturing, giving something to a person with the left hand shows a sign of rudeness to the other person, and the concept of personal space is negligible. When communicating, Nigerians are very straightforward and direct in communicating, and not in a hurry. Hence, patience is required. Big displays of emotions are known and acceptable in a public situation, and a simple conversation can be confused with an argument. Technological factors include electricity and modern communications. In 2003, Nigeria commissioned the National Energy Policy, which established guidelines for the protection of the environment and the exploitation of fossil fuels. The policy also emphasized the exploration of renewable and alternative energy sources, primarily solar, wind, and biomass. Some of the renewable energy technologies that are used in Nigeria now are the solar photovoltaic, solar thermal, wind, small hydro, and biomass. These renewable energy technologies are broken down into smaller products such as solar dryers and charge controllers, lamps, biodigesters, inverters, batteries, solar cookers, solar touch, and, solar cookers. Nigeria has many institutions such as universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. In 2012, the Nigerian Communication Commission was implemented, resulting in well over 100 million mobile global systems for mobile subscribers and over 9 million operators. Environmental factors has to do with environmental hazards, cost implication, and public opinion. The 1999 Constitution contains an environmental policy to improve, empower, safeguard, and protect the environment, forests, wildlife, water, air, and land of Nigeria. The private and public sector in Nigeria will not authorize project activities without considering environmental impact. International businesses must make an agreement with the three government bodies: federal, state and local, before any energy activities or operation can begin at any targeted region. There are federal laws and regulation enforcement bodies that safeguard the environment. Nigeria has about 22 airports, with 4 international ones in the cities of Lagos, Kano, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Nigeria is located in a tropical zone with average temperatures always above 68 degrees in Fahrenheit. Nigeria has 2 seasons, rainy and dry. Flooding is the most common natural hazard. Legal. This involves the legal requirements for a company to operate in Nigeria. Also, directives and the African Union legislation. The most important law of the nation is the 1999 Nigeria Constitution. The legal process of doing business in Nigeria begins with registering the company name in the Corporate Affairs Commission registration system and confirming that the name is already available or not. The next level process involves the submission of required documents for the company to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Final step involves application payment, registration of income and income tax, and a government inspection of the company. Employment legislation is overseen by the Nigeria Labor Congress. The major objective of the Nigeria Labor Congress is to defend, promote, and protect the interests of all workers, their well-being, rights, trade unions, and pensioners. To defend and protect a Nigerian nation that would be democratic, transparent, just, and to be prosperous and advance the cause of the employing class. To defend the rights and promote the well-being and interests of the employed in their working environment, in defending and advancing the economy's social and political well-being of the employed citizens, to enhance the income of workers, the quality of life, to defend and promote the democracy, civil governance, transparency, and probity in the trade unions, and to work for the prosperity and urbanization of the nation, ensuring full employment and protection of jobs. Expatriation. Over the last decade, there has been a rising demand for global talent and an increase in the need for expatriates. Most long-term expatriate assignments last 2 or more years. Assignees will go through a honeymoon phase and then culture shock during the initial settling in phase of the relocation. As a result, they are usually stronger and more confident. Their behaviors and workplace skills expand, along with a broadened cultural horizon that incorporates values and attitudes of the host culture. Stress is the biggest issue of expatriation. Approximately 80% of the expatriates that accept overseas assignment take their spouse and children along with them, and studies have established that one of the primary reasons for early termination is spouse and family issues, the cultural adjustment, and stress. Expatriates on international assignments identify family concerns, spouse's career and adequate compensation, their career aspirations and quality of life on assignment as key stressors. The international transition has been found to cause increased levels of stress, which have led to a number of negative behaviors like absenteeism, alcohol and drug abuse, depression, early return to the domestic organization, aggression toward others within and outside the organization, extended leaves, or any combination of these negative behaviors. Repatriation. Repatriating employees and their organizations frequently overlook the challenges associated with returning from a global assignment. Research shows that returning home after an international assignment is often challenging for repatriates' well-being. Difficulties on re-entry can also have negative effects on the multinational enterprise, or MNE, directly and indirectly. research shows that poor repatriation adjustment leads to a higher likelihood of them looking for different employment, which is costly to the MNE, and a loss of return on investment in the repatriating employee if the repatriating employee leaves the organization. Now, indirectly, when a repatriating employee leaves, they often take positions with competitors, which gives that competitor an additional competitive advantage. High attrition among repatriates jeopardizes an MNE's ability to develop a strong international reputation and makes it difficult to attract quality candidates for future global assignments. Moreover, repatriates' intercultural skills and their knowledge are critical assets to a multinational enterprise. Because repatriates can uniquely contribute to knowledge transfer and organizational learning, they are highly valuable employees in today's international business environment, and it's especially costly for organizations when they leave. Nigeria and electricity. Scholars have concluded that electricity is the #1 major problem in Nigeria. They agree that solar power is a feasible energy solution in Nigeria and a possible solution to combating the energy crisis in the country. Electricity problems have been researched, and identified as the main setback in Nigeria's economy. Businesses need electricity to maintain operations. Nigeria has high, intense sunlight, which puts solar power in high demand, especially in rural areas. Millions of Nigerian households and public institutions depend on firewood as an energy source, which causes health and environmental problems. In fact, women and children die annually from indoor air pollution from firewood used for cooking, and firewood use emits greenhouse gases daily. The over-dependency on fossil fuel in Nigeria could be one big reason for the failing power sector. The country's economic development is in peril due to the imminent energy crisis from gas shortage, vandalism, diminishing fossil fuel reserves, and energy insecurity. At this time, I am privileged to speak with a native of Nigeria, Adamson Adekola. He resides in Lagos and is in the architectural profession. Ekale.
Ekale, Eshe. That means good evening, thank you.
I see. Is that in your tribal language?
That is correct.
Now, Adamson Adekola, I want to thank you for offering to interview for this graduate research project on global mobility. I'll jump right in. Regarding culture, are all Nigerians multilingual? And can you expound on language?
Typically, yes. Nigerians are multilingual. And since the country was colonized by the British, the official language spoken has been English. In addition to English, Nigerians speak one or more ethnic languages specific to the tribal communities. Well, I speak Yoruba, that is my tribe, and all the major tribes are Igbo and Hausa.
I see. Now, the expatriate coming to Nigeria will live and work in Lagos. Can you tell us more about the city?
Lagos is the commercial city of Nigeria and is metropolitan with a lot of tourist attraction. It was once the country capital until Abuja replaced it, and is now the nation's capital city. Lagos is the only city with the wharf for port access, and Lagos is modern and it's overcrowded.
I see. So regarding staging, what would be some housing options for our expatriate, and what mode of transportation is available for getting around the city?
With the rate of modern infrastructures, service apartments are ideal for housing as they come furnished and can be leased on short or long-term basis. There is a public transport system, and Uber is also available.
Oh, I see. Uber.
Yeah.
Okay. So when the expatriate gets off the plane and he's going through customs, are there any behaviors or gestures specific to your culture that he should be aware of?
Yes, saying hello is appropriate. Actually, you should hand over any item with the right hand. It is considered rudeness to give someone, even a child, an item with the left hand.
I see. So, in other
Yeah.
words, when the expatriate is, say, presenting his passport in customs, he should extend the passport with his right hand. Is that correct?
Oh, oh yes, that is correct.
All right. Now, the expatriate represents an American solar power company, and his objective is to complete a business development analysis that includes a marketing, operational, and global mobility strategy for providing renewable energy options to Nigeria. Is access to electricity a problem?
It is a problem because just slightly over half of the total Nigerian population doesn't have access to electricity. And most residing in the rural areas have no electricity. Even in Lagos, electricity is not constant. We can be without power for days and weeks. We even get to utilize generators when there is no power. Even franchises that come into the country run their businesses utilizing generators and burning fuels.
I see. So, do you think solar power is a reasonable option that would receive acceptance in Nigerian culture?
Oh, yes, I do. Because solar panels are already being used in modern structures. The country is blessed with an abundance of sunshine radiation, and a lot of rural areas will benefit from it. There's a lot of major cities without no electricity. Some cities are without electricity for months because of vandalism to the power companies. So many people would benefit from it. So not energy and would welcome it.
I see. Well, that concludes this interview. And once again, thank you so much for sharing and expounding on Nigeria for this project.
Thank you for your time also, Crystal.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Moving on with ethical and social considerations. Global HRM plays a central role in the ethical behavior of a multinational enterprise and how it regards corporate social responsibility. In the context of global mobility, when a MNE enters another country, corporate behavior should be guided by a respect for core human values, combined with a respect for local traditions, while integrating social and environmental concerns into its operations. With this belief, HR can bring creative solutions to difficult challenges, such as when practices in the foreign culture is considered unacceptable at home. As seen by the threefold mission statement, WDC Solar and its founder take ethical and social responsibilities seriously, having forged a reputation for environmental leadership and community involvement. An objective of WDC Solar is to not only demonstrate customer, corporate, social responsibility in Washington, D.C., but globally as well, starting with Nigeria. These are the findings of WDC's business analysts. Nigeria is ranked 7th in the world population with 195.8 million according to the World Bank in 2018, and cannot provide electricity access to her populace both in the urban and rural areas. Approximately 60% of the Nigerian population does not have power supply, with 40% not on the nation's grid. The Nigerian grid supply of electricity is on average 6 hours per day, rationed among inhabitants of the cities. Almost all of the rural Nigeria, estimated to be about 42% of the total population, have little or no access to electricity. The majority of the electricity supply in Nigeria is generated by Kainji Dam, which falls short of demand. This is due to underperforming hydro dams in the country. Another factor is the high cost of distribution across the country. About 60% of households in Lagos are without access to electricity. Nigeria has about 30 outages monthly. Erratic power supply has caused many of the inhabitants and companies in Nigeria to generate their own power using generators powered by petroleum fuel or diesel. Erratic supply is due to high energy losses caused by physical deterioration of the facilities for transmission and distribution, depth of power equipment, high cost of electricity production, insufficient metering system, poor billing system, and low capacity available. Generators increase environmental pollution. Electricity access has direct links to clean drinking water, good health, and agricultural activities. The lack of electricity is still responsible for high levels of underdevelopment and poverty. It is a fact that stable and affordable electricity contributes to higher levels of economic development. Networking in Nigeria. Well, during his 2-year assignment, George Hall established some valuable relationships, laying a foundation for the next phase of WDC Solar's global assignments. Power Africa is an agency that promotes partnerships among technical and legal experts, private sector, and governments for international economic development. The organization partners with United States Agency for International Development and U.S. Trade and Development Agency to assist with bringing power to Nigeria and improve commercial operations. Power Africa is assisting with agreements on several solar projects that will help Nigeria diversify its energy mix. The organization has helped bring funding to energy projects, including $50 million investment by the Overseas Private Investment Corporation. With a $15 million OPIC loan, Lumas Global, a solar power firm headquartered in Nigeria, deployed rooftop solar panel kits to approximately 70,000 residential and small commercial customers in Nigeria, using a lease-to-own business model. In partnership with General Electric, the U.S. African Development Foundation, and others, Power Africa has awarded 9 $100,000 grants to entrepreneurs for innovative off-grid energy projects in Nigeria thus far. George Hall seeks to take advantage of connections to acquire grants for WDC solar projects in Nigeria. Via Power Africa, George Hall established relationships with the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioner, and the Transmission Company of Nigeria to rally support for future WDC solar projects in Nigeria. The expatriation-repatriation cycle. A clear understanding of the expatriation-repatriation cycle ensured a successful global assignment for WDC Solar Business Development Analyst George Hall. WDC Solar followed these tips. In pre-departure, they talked to the assignee about repatriation planning, the company's expectations and their expectations, scheduled check-in dates, as well as a start date to discuss repatriation, which is about 6 months before returning. ensured the expatriate maintained a line of communication with the Home Office, ensured the assignee was aware of developments in the Home Office, provided the expatriate with access to resources for personal and family concerns. On assignment, they checked in with the expatriate on a regular basis, kept in touch with the assignee's host country support, provided the expatriate with opportunities to plan career steps upon return, tempered any unrealistic expectations, monitored economic developments such as cost of living, housing, etc. In case of emergency, ensured constant communication with the expatriate and family, made sure assignee had the proper tools and technology to do a good job. Upon return, they worked with the assignee and HR to facilitate the return by discussing the assignee's possible new position, potential career path, and reintroduction to colleagues. They encouraged the returnee to join expatriate or cultural forums, provided the returnee with mentoring opportunities to engage the new expatriates. And in case of involuntary return or trauma, they were prepared to speedily provide appropriate resources to recover. Communication and preparation is the key to successful global mobility. The stated hypothesis was proven upon completing this research project. This effective global mobility strategy did enable WDC Solar business development analyst George Hall to develop a sound project analysis for solar power development and implementation in the country of Nigeria. Nigeria is ready for renewable energy, and solar power is a viable energy source for the nation. This successful global assignment did confirm that WDC Solar should move forward with expanding into the Nigerian renewable energy market to take advantage of a lucrative business venture. For successful future team global assignments, I suggest that WDC Solar respectfully approach, build rapport, and gain the cooperation from the Nigerian natives and energy regulating authorities. Once operating in Nigeria, measures must be put in place to secure company property. Last, I recommend that management prioritize expatriate training and ensure the well-being and the re-entry experiences of repatriates. Much success to WDC Solar as the U.S. company embarks on global expansions. Thank you. References provided.